What's up guys, it's Ella. Welcome to my channel whether you're new here or not. I really stumbled on that one. What's up guys, it's Ella. Welcome to my channel whether you are new here or not. Today we are going to be talking about fake dating romance recommendations. I do just want to put like a disclaimer that a lot of these are very popular books, so if you have read a lot of romance or you watch a lot of booktube or you're on BookTok, you've probably definitely heard of these books. But if you haven't or aren't on those platforms, then you probably haven't. So watch and see. Okay? Okay. Fake dating is one of my favorite tropes, I thought, but as I was going through this list and like trying to pick out books to talk about, I realized I don't read nearly as much fake dating as I thought I did. So that's now a mission of mine, is to find all the good fake dating books, and I will let you know what my findings are, and we will do a part 2 of this video. I don't know when, probably after I find them, but we will do a part 2. I promise. Pinky promise. Okay. If you are new to romance and you don't know what the fake dating trope is, it's exactly what it sounds like. It is books where the two main characters have to fake date, usually because it is mutually beneficial, and they have to sometimes they have to get fake married. I don't know. In one of these they have to get fake married. I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, that's really all there is to it. They have to fake date for a situation that's different every time. So here's my recommendations. Let's just get into it. The first book we are going to talk about is one of my absolute favorites that I lent to a friend and don't have with me currently, and that is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. This book is about Lena. She is from Spain and she lives in New York City? She lives in a city. I don't totally remember what city. I'm pretty sure New York, because all these books take place in either New York or Seattle. Regardless, she lives in a city and she works at a largely male-dominated firm. At this firm, there is a man named Aaron Blackford. They're engineers, I think. Pretty sure they're engineers. I swear it's one of my favorite books. I just don't remember many of the fine details, apparently. Anyway, they work at the same firm and they don't get along so well. Some people would call this enemies to lovers. I don't think that. It's more like rivals to lovers. I think rivals is a better word, but a lot of people would call this enemies to lovers, grumpy sunshine. Regardless, they work at the same firm, they don't really like each other, and Lena needs a date. She's single and she needs a date for her cousin's wedding in Spain, back home. She hasn't seen her family in a while, and she told them all she has a boyfriend for some bizarre reason, which is the biggest issue with that book. I don't know why you need to lie to your whole family. Regardless, she does, and she needs to find herself a boyfriend to take as her date to this wedding. Aaron Blackford overhears this and says, hey, I'll be your date to the wedding if you come to a different event with me. But the thing is, they don't like each other, so why would he agree to that, right? Right? Yeah, you find out why, because that's kind of the whole point of the book. Anyway, so they fake date, they pretend that they've been dating for a while, and so there's the whole part where they're in Spain at the wedding, and then there's the part where they're back home and they're trying to figure out, like, are these feelings real or are these feelings not real because you're just faking? Are you just really good at faking it? I don't know. You have to read. Okay. The next one is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I absolutely adore this book. Like I said, these are not niche recommendations. These are very, very popular books, but if you haven't read The Love Hypothesis, allow me to be the one to sell it to you, okay? Because this book is phenomenal. This book is about Olive and Adam. Olive is a PhD student, and she recently had a fling with a guy that her best friend now likes. And in order to convince her best friend that it's okay that if her best friend pursues this guy because she doesn't have feelings for him anymore, she says she has a boyfriend and then kisses the first guy she sees and pretends that he's her boyfriend. Perfect. Makes perfect sense, right? Right? There's no tomfoolery. It makes perfect sense. The first guy she sees in the hallway of their, academic building is Adam Carlson, who is higher up. He works for the PhD program. He has PhD students work under him, so he's her superior. And he's grumpy, and a lot of his students hate him because they think that he's too harsh of a grader and all this stuff. And so they end up fake dating because he thinks that it'll look good for his image to have a girlfriend. So he's gonna help her out and fake date and convince all her friends that he's her boyfriend. And then she's going to convince, the board of people who want to give him a promotion that she's his girlfriend because he needs like a reason to stay in UC Berkeley, Stanford, something like that. Yeah, it's Stanford. So anyway, I think I did a phenomenal job explaining that book. I didn't. I know that that was rough. But this book is so, so, so good. It has pretty much every trope that you could possibly think of. Every trope, because it started as fan fiction and now it's a real book. So I definitely strongly recommend this book. Even if it maybe doesn't sound like something you'd be particularly into, I still like cannot recommend it enough. The next book is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, which is like the romance book, right? Well, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover is also, but this one is like the romance book, right? This book is also about a girl named Olive, because all quirky, fun, sunshine girls are named Olive, and this guy named Ethan. Olive's sister is supposed to marry, or does marry, Ethan's brother at the beginning of the book. Then there is an incident at their wedding when everybody except for Olive and Ethan get food poisoning. Now, this includes the bride and the groom, and the bride and the groom are supposed to go on their honeymoon to Hawaii the next day, but they can't take it because they're both far too sick. And Olive and Ethan are the only other people who could take it because they have the same last names as their brother and sister, which is who the trip is booked under, and these are all the stipulations that go along with this trip, because there's a lot of strings attached, apparently. So these two have to pretend to be newlyweds while they go on this honeymoon, because, you know, if they don't, if the jig's up, then they have to go home and they don't get their all-inclusive trip to Hawaii. The thing is, the two don't really like each other, as is the case with most fake dating books. So that's this. The next book is The Ex Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. Would it be a video of mine if I didn't talk about a Rachel Lynn Solomon book? Probably not. This book is about a girl named Shay who works for a radio station. It's all she's ever wanted to do since she was a little girl. Her dad, who unfortunately passed away when she was in her early adulthood, they really bonded over their love of radio. And so Shay goes into radio. She is a producer behind the scenes, has been for 10 years, and then this new hotshot, like younger guy with a master's degree that he won't stop talking about comes in, and he starts, you know, really just making waves in the radio, at the radio station, and she's threatened by it. His name's Dominic, and one day they're in a staff meeting and the guy who heads the whole radio station says, hey, you know, numbers are down, we need some good ideas. And Shay says, what if we had a show where instead of a dating show with like a couple that's giving dating advice, it's a pair of exes that are giving dating advice. And the guy, his name's Kent, the guy who runs the radio station, is like, that's perfect. I love it. It's modern, it's fresh, it's funky, it's fun. Absolutely. You and Dominic can be the co-hosts. Shay and Dominic never dated, but everybody just thinks they have this tension, and so they have to pretend to be exes, and they have to pretend that they did date. So is it fake dating? Kind of. It's fake dated. So it's a fun little twist. I need to stop touching my hair, but it's really frizzy today. I'm deeply sorry. So it's a fun little twist on this trope, and I really enjoyed this book. I actually just finished it a couple weeks ago, and I thought, as I do with all Rachel Lynn Solomon books, it was so easy to get through. I did like Weather Girl more, but Weather Girl's one of my favorites ever, so that's understandable. So yeah, I really recommend this book. I think that a lot of people who like The Unhoneymooners and who like a lot of Grumpy Sunshine books, so like The Love Hypothesis, the ones that I have talked about, I think a lot of people who like Grumpy Sunshine, fake dating, rivals to lovers will really enjoy this book and should give it a shot, because I don't feel like enough people have given it a shot. The next book is The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren, which is actually my preferred Christina Lauren fake dating book, which the fact that it's a very small category, but nonetheless, I enjoy it. Nope, not what I was trying to say. Nonetheless, I have one. Nonetheless, that's what this is. So, I don't know. Anything else would have been better than what I just said. This book is about Jessica Davis. She is a freelance accountant, and she works, because she's a freelance accountant, she works from home, and she works from this coffee shop every single day. Every single day, she sees this guy that comes in. They call him Americano because he gets, you know, an Americano every single day, and he's bland and boring, kind of like Americanos. Sorry, but I like flavor in my coffee. Oops. Turns out that this guy's name is River Pena. He is the CEO slash founder slash creator of this app called Genetically, Genetic Ally. I think it's Genetically, but I don't know how it's pronounced. Regardless, not important. It's a company that thinks that there are pieces of each person's DNA that when matched with specific pieces of another person's DNA can tell their compatibility. So you take a blood test and then you get entered into this system and find people that are genetically compatible with you. Would this work in real life? I don't think so, but I think it's a cool concept and I would absolutely give it a shot. Jess gets talked into taking this test with her best friend, who River also talked to about it, and she gets the highest match that the company has ever seen. And her match is with, you guessed it, River / Americano. Isn't that so fun? I thought it was so fun. So the company is going to pay Jessica a lot of money. She's a single mom. She needs a lot of money to fake date River and do like articles and interviews and stuff like that for press for their app. So she agrees because, like I said, she's a single mom, needs the money, and it looks good for River's app. So that's kind of what I'm talking about when I say a lot of these books have mutual interest for these people. So yeah, that's that one. And I really did enjoy this book significantly more than I thought. I kind of was expecting it to going into it, I thought it would be almost science fiction-y. I don't know. Someone explained it to me that way and I was very against it, but I was like, it's Christina Lawrence, I'll give it a shot. So I gave it a shot and I loved it. So if that's your wave of thinking, try it, you'll like it. The next book is Take a Hint, Dani Brown by Talia Hibbert. If you've been on my channel before, if you've seen any of my videos, you know that I talked a lot about Act Your Age, Eve Brown, because I do absolutely love that book. This is the second book in the Brown Sisters series, but you can absolutely read them as standalones. As a matter of fact, I think I read this one first. I can't totally remember. You can read them as standalones though. If like Chloe Brown doesn't seem interesting to you, you don't have to read it first. That's just my little, I feel like I always forget to mention that, but a lot of people didn't love Chloe Brown as much as they loved the other two books, so I thought I would mention that so that if that was what was holding you back, you don't have to read Chloe Brown first. This book is about a girl named Dani, obviously, Dani Brown. Dani is a professor at this school, and one of her good friends at this school is a security guard named Zafir. He knows she doesn't eat before she comes into work in the morning because she's usually running late. So he brings her like a granola bar and stuff like that. Like, he's just very sweet, very cinnamon roll-esque hero. And one day there's like a fire alarm situation and Dani gets stuck in the elevator and Zafir saves her. So Dani, they get filmed, like someone films him literally carrying her out of the building that's like has alarms going off, films it and puts it online, and everybody is shipping them, which is a word I don't use very much anymore. I don't really love that word. Anyway, regardless, sorry if I just sounded a little chuggy. So a lot of people were shipping them, and so Zafir actually works with he's a retired rugby player, and he works with underprivileged kids and like runs a rugby camp for underprivileged kids. And he said, hey, look, like I'm getting a lot of press, like can I use this to help with my rugby nonprofit? And Dani's like, yeah, of course. He said, is it okay if we pretend to fake date to get publicity? And Dani's like, yeah, sure, of course. I forget what's in it for her. It might just be out of the goodness of her heart, or because Zafir asks her so nicely and she secretly loves him. Could be, maybe, I don't know. So that's the premise of this book. They fake date for his nonprofit purposes. I really loved this book, and it has a plus-size hero and a plus-size heroine, which you don't see very much. It has a hero who reads romance novels, which is an immediate plus, and it's Grumpy Sunshine, but reverse Grumpy Sunshine, which I feel like doesn't happen very much. Dani's much grumpier than Zafir. So yeah, I thought that those were all really cool additions, and I just absolutely adore this book. The last book on this list is Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. Full disclosure, I didn't finish this book, but I finished the first one, and I'm going to finish this book. I just haven't yet, but I felt like being transparent was important. This book is the second in the Dreamland Billionaires series, which is a series about three brothers who are the heirs to Disneyland. Essentially, they call it Dreamland, but it's Disneyland. Their grandfather left them certain roles in this company that will make them a lot of money, but in order to come into these roles, there's certain things they have to do. So each of them gets a letter from their grandfather with a specific like task, and this brother's task is that he has to get married and have a kid before he can become the CFO or something like that. Declan, that's what he has to do. Yeah, Declan Kane has to get married and have a kid before he can come into the role that he's been prepped for his entire life. So he's incredibly grumpy, like almost the toxic kind of grumpy, but some people like that in their books. It's kind of why I like put it down. I will pick it back up, pinky promise. So Declan tries to pay a whole bunch of girls, like people that he's met, to marry him and have his child because that's what he has to do, and none of them goes through because he's just such a miserable individual. So his assistant Iris agrees to do it, and they get married, and thus chaos ensues, but they're not actually in love, so it's fake marriage, which is not fake dating, but it is kind of, because they had to pretend that they dated and fell in love and got married. So that's that. Those are some of my fake dating recommendations. Like I said, I didn't realize that I haven't read as many of these as I originally anticipated I did, so I'm going to try to read more, and I will get back to you guys with the ones that I enjoy. Don't know when that'll come, but it'll come at some point. And I am now on the lookout for good fake dating books, so if you have any recommendations, let me know. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined, and I will see you when I see you. Bye guys.